Matthew Vaughn is so adept at crossing the line, I feel like he must have worked for a lowercase t factory. Obscure similes are the best similes.
Det här är jättegott.
I think we should do you the favor of conversing in English. Yes. So, tell me, Eggsy, what do you do?
I work for Kingsman, the tailors, Your Highness.
Kingsman, The Golden Circle is the second Kingsman movie brought to us by Matthew Vaughn, once again starring Taron Egerton as a young man entering into a secret society of British spies, independent of any kind of government. This time, though, they need their American brethren's help, so we see some American spy work in there as well. Does it lose the charm and energy and creativeness of the first? Does it cross as many lines as the first did? Let's take a look at all that with 5 things you might want to know about Kingsman, The Golden Circle. I gotta be honest, I've got mixed feelings on this one, much like I did with the first one. A lot of that has to do with Matthew Vaughn and the way he does things. Let's start with the good stuff. I love the consistency of the tone in these movies, that goofy, silly, dumb kind of tone. And everybody knows what movie they're in. This is so important, whether it be Taron Egerton, whether it be the new cast, which includes incredible names like Channing Tatum, Jeff Bridges, Julianne Moore. Like, these are really talented people, but they all get the movie that they're making. And I think Vaughn does a very good job at keeping that tone consistent. And that's important because when you're dealing with something that is this silly and this over the top, if it isn't consistent, it doesn't allow you to buy into the world enough that any of the real emotional value works. And there is some here, and it does work. Again, that's because of the consistent tone and the work he does to make it the same from the beginning to the end. The other thing I love about these movies, that's again here in the second one, the action scenes. I think these set pieces, and there's 3 or 4 of them, no, maybe 5. There might be 5 action set pieces in this film, and they are all mind-blowingly fun. The way he choreographs this action is so clever and interesting and fun to see on the screen. That's when I lose myself in the movie. I don't much like Matthew Vaughn, the director. We'll go into details for that here in a bit. But I do really like Matthew Vaughn, the action choreographer. Like, get a different director in a different film, but have Vaughn do the action scenes, and I will be a happy camper. I think they are a lot of fun. They happen throughout the movie, and that's when I'm enjoying myself the most. So let's get into the stuff I don't necessarily like about the way Vaughn does his movies. And I'm going to put yellows on these because actually some people are attracted to these things, and you may actually enjoy these things. Once again, we're going with excess here. He has a way of crossing the line in this movie. I actually thought this movie had a little more restraint than the first one, maybe because that first one was all new and shocking, but I don't think there's anything here as violent or disgusting as the chapel scene in the first one. Now, of course, many may see that as a bad thing. I don't know. I don't think there's anything as sexually subversive as some of the comments made during the first one, although there's some of that stuff here. The point is he continues to go over the top, even if in my opinion it's not quite as over the top in the first one. And because of that, I think he pushes the line to a place where it disconnects me as an audience member. I go, you didn't have to go there. We were having a good time, and you think it's more fun to be slightly misogynistic in some of the things you're saying and doing and the way you're approaching these characters, and I'm just not buying into it. Here's the other thing that I think is going to be off-putting for a lot of people. We'll give this a yellow as well. I think you have to have seen the first one to enjoy this one at all. So much of, especially the humor, is callback humor, depending on seeing scenes from the first movie. Now, this is important for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you haven't seen the first movie, you're lost. You're going to be distracted by why they're kind of winking at you with this humor when you don't get the original joke. Number two, if you haven't seen this movie in a while, which I think it came out 2 years ago, you might still be a little bit lost and not remember some of the things that they're referencing, some of the things that they're calling back to. I found myself in that position a couple times. Like, I can tell that's about what happened in the first movie, but I don't exactly remember. Now, some of that stuff, if you do remember the first movie, plays even greater, but the movie shouldn't depend on it, and I think this movie does. Aside from those things, really the major negative here is the length of the film. It just goes on too long. It includes stuff between these amazing set pieces that just feels like it doesn't need to be there, especially the drug war stuff, the war on drugs stuff. Now, I get that that's part of the main plot, but you don't have to go into as depth with it with the American president in a wasted performance by Emily Watson, who was given nothing to do, because none of that stuff really matters. It's like they were trying to make some point about the drug war, but it was a mixed message. At times it seemed like it was against the drug war, and at times it seemed like it was saying, no, it's a good thing that we're battling drugs. I couldn't really divine what they were trying to do with that whole plot, and it could have just been left out. It made the movie way too long. Overall, though, I feel like Kingsman: The Golden Circle is going to appeal to people who liked the first one. If you enjoyed that, I think there's a lot more of that here for you to like. If you're like me and a lot of that stuff's just a little much for you, you're probably not going to enjoy it. For me, I gave it a C+. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the Best Ever Challenge here in a bit. Before we do, though, let's hang out further. Hit me up on Twitter, Aaron Dicer, AARONDICER. Would love to hang out there. We can also hang out on the podcast, SiftPop, SiftPop. We do a weekly podcast, review whatever movie's out that week, and then talk about some other fun stuff. We're going to do Best Ever Julianne Moore movies this week, which, by the way, is the Best Ever Challenge for this video as well. So that's coming up here in a second. Also, hang out on YouTube, subscribe, leave comments, all that kind of fun stuff. And thanks for your support at Patreon. Blows my mind. $3 a month. So many people just saying, yeah, I can give you $3 every month because I love your videos. It helps me keep doing this. So thank you for that. That's patreon.com/yourmoviefriend. And I should mention there are some fun perks there if you want to help out. Throw some fun stuff your way. All right, on to the Best Ever Challenge, which is where we name the best movie ever in a particular category. Try to guess my choice. Leave yours in the comments. As already mentioned, Best Ever Julianne Moore movie. Which Julianne Moore movie is your favorite? Hello, what a filmography. She has been in so many amazing things. Absolutely incredible. I'm going to have to go with the one that some are saying may actually be a sequel to the TV show The Handmaid's Tale. Take a guess at mine in the comments. First person to get it right does get a point. And as always, I'll give you a few extra seconds to hit subscribe. Just click my face.